Am I the butthole for not cleaning while I cook just to prove a point to my husband? I've always cleaned as I cook so that when it gets to the end of the meal, there's minimal mess. My husband is the opposite. When he cooks, it's like a bomb went off. I've encouraged him to clean as he cooks, and if we're doing a big meal/holiday meal together, I often make sure to assign him that role. Like most people, one of us cooks, the other one cleans up. I am the better cook, so I cook like 80% of the time. He gets an easy cleanup. I'm busier than usual at work, so he's had to step up. Whenever he's done, the kitchen is a mess. I don't even get how it happens. There will be oil splatters untouched, stuff drying to dishes, peels and meat. I'm not about to let food sit out overnight, so after I'm done eating I'll start the process and won't get to really relax much. Last week I asked if he could please try cleaning as he cooks. He told me the rule is one person cooks, the other person cleans. I said I get that, but you're leaving me with a huge mess every night. He said I just don't have the time to clean up when I'm focused on cooking, knowing full well I'll see him scrolling on his phone. I just got so fed up, so on Sunday I made a big pot of chili. I didn't clean up as I worked. When I was done, I served him, sat down, enjoyed a beer and dinner. When he finally went into the kitchen, he said, "What the F? Why is there such a mess?" I said that I was too busy paying attention to the chili to clean up. I started to get ready for bed. He was like, "You're just going to leave this here?" And I said yes. He said he would have to wake up extra early to clean up and that he had to be at work earlier than usual and was supposed to play a game with his friends later that night, so could I just clean up? I said no, I cooked, so he has to clean. 2 days later he's still pissy with me because he ended up not being able game and told me that he didn't get enough sleep and was exhausted at work. Not to be too snarky, but it's not like he's a surgeon, because I had to prove a point to him. I told him that nothing else seemed to get his attention, and I feel pretty justified. He told me I was being a smug butthole about it and it was childish. AITA? Or is he? Edit. A couple of people asked how we can make so many dishes, it should take 15 minutes, etc. We don't have a dishwasher, there's no room for one, so everything has to be done by hand. Additionally, doing the dishes means cleaning up the counters and stovetop and sweeping the floor, taking out the trash if need be. When I make chili, it's a process starting with dried chilies that I toast, soak, seed, pulverize, etc. Then there's cooking the dried beans, then there's the onions and garlic and the peels, any other veggies, seeding tomato, cans of tomato, grinding the spices, etc. Then there's grating cheese for the top, etc. It definitely left a ton of dishes and other stuff behind. Edit 2. Sorry guys, I was reading comments as I was at work. I thought this would get like 10 comments tops. So another thing that comes up is whoever cooks also cleans, but since I cook most of the time, I just don't see that as being also fair to me. I'll end up spending almost every single day after work, I've been ending work at 6 or 7 some days lately, cooking and cleaning. If I had him cook more I would definitely start to gain weight and then we'd have another issue altogether, ha 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 ha. Final edit. Thanks for all the feedback everyone. Oh, and sorry to the people on Am I the Angel for the humble braggy way I mentioned I make chili. Didn't mean to make you guys feel inferior because I toasted a few chilies. Lamau. Oh, it's so fishy because she used dried beans. Makes sense why people are asking for my recipe if the concept of toasting chilies and using dried beans is so novel. Lamau. NTA. In my opinion, the whole I cook, you clean should only be applicable when the one who cooks also cleans along the way, and the one who cleans does the dishes, etc. after dinner. It does not work when someone takes advantage and leaves the entire mess for the other to clean up. It sounds like you tried to ask him multiple times, and were considerate, but he did not listen. Emo, you did nothing wrong, you just did what he expected you to tolerate from him. Hope this is a wake-up call for him. He cannot treat you like his maid just because he can't clean up his own damn mess. Good for you for standing up. Edit. Holy crap, thank you all for the upvotes. Exactly. He basically said that the rule is one person cooks and the other cleans and the cook is not responsible for cleaning. So you did things his way. Now he's saying that you need to clean when you cook and he doesn't. Massive double standard. I'd suggest original post keep doing what she did until he's learned his lesson, to be honest. Am I the only one thinks this is crazy town? If you have to do this, and that too do it repeatedly, In order to get treated with basic respect, you need marriage counseling. There's a saying I hold on to: I will treat you how I want to be treated until you show me that you need to be treated how you treat me. This is a perfect example. Original post is considerate and cleans up so husband doesn't have a huge mess to clean up after she cooks. Husband makes a big mess while cooking and isn't considerate enough to leave original post a smaller mess. So she starts treating him how he treats her. Shocked Pikachu face NTA op. Hopefully this lesson sticks. Hopefully. Most times when they get it back in kind, the types to pull this are just incredulous at the suggestion of impropriety. That's a great interpretation of the golden rule. I essentially do that already, but you've made it very tidy and succinct. The perfect cook and clean division always seemed a little unbalanced to me. Cooking is a really active task, especially when you're unfamiliar with it, and cleaning can be a lot more work, but you can pop a pair of earphones in and not think about it. Plus, I was always really resentful that my parents wanted to use a million separate bowls, mix the spices in this one, garlic in this one, onions in this one, and years later when they had to wash their own dishes they suddenly stopped using bowls. My partner and I decided to split cooking up, where they cut everything up and prep the ingredients while I cook, then I load the dishwasher and they unload and wipe down the counters. It just worked as a better division of labor for us, worked better to our strengths, and we weren't questioning if the other person wasn't being efficient enough. Yeah, growing up my dad loved to cook huge meals, and he's such a slob about it. Food in the sink, a fresh fork for every stir, just gobs of sauce all over the stove. Who cares because it's the kid's job to clean up? Rolling eyes face, just because I'm the cleaner doesn't mean I should have to wipe the walls once a day because you cook like ratatouille on LSD. F that. It's not hard to be neat as you go. I totally agree. I don't understand how people cannot clean as they cook, at least to some extent. Just thinking about it gives me anxiety. ADHD and anxiety. Militant clean as they cook person over here. Too anxious about the possibility of an overwhelming mess to ever let myself make an overwhelming mess. All that matters is both parties agree on the division. My wife almost always cooks, I almost always clean, but I don't expect her to have cleaned along the way. If she did, she'd be doing far more than me. Sometimes I or my girlfriend do bits of the dishes as the cooking happens. So as she finishes with the chopping boards or knives, I will wash them as she stirs, seasons, etc. This works best for us. I'm a lousy cook, so I act as sous chef and chop vegetables, stir, etc., as well as cleaning up as my partner cooks. By the time dinner is ready, the only thing remaining is to put up any leftovers. I agree, but also it's bullcrap to have to clean up someone else's mess in the first place. It makes much more sense to trade every other day and say you cook, you clean every other day. One cooking and the other cleaning makes more sense in many situations. Doing both the same night can be exhausting. My partner is an awful cook, so in our house either I would be both cooking, plus, cleaning 80 to 90% of the time, or half the time he'd have to do a task he doesn't like, whereas I enjoy cooking, and I have to eat crappy food lol. Being the person to both cook and clean good in the way you presented it, but wouldn't work for a lot of people, like my boyfriend and I. That's what we do. We are the opposite. My husband is good at cleaning as he goes and I always make a big mess. So if I cook, I also clean. If he cooks, he cleans. Whoever is cooking cleans up after dinner, the other does baths for the kiddos. It didn't work for us. So, I moved on to whoever cooks also cleans up their own mess. It was just too stressful the other way. This whole story made me laugh, smiley face, not the butthole. Exactly, my wife and I have the same agreement, and the only thing I leave for her to clean are the pots and or pans used in the final step of cooking. Everything else like knives, cutting boards, or other tools, I clean or put in the dishwasher as I go along. Given that you did communicate and he chose not to listen, it's an NTA. You do need to follow up on this with a heart-to-heart so that he understands that this is how you feel every night he cooks. I would also suggest that you try cleaning up together. Marriage is a team effort, and I think this makes a good team project. Many couples find that cleaning up together works well for them, and you may find it works better for you than your current system. Edited for clarity. It's already split. One cooks, the other cleans. If one did the cooking by themselves, Why should he also help W cleaning? Because it goes faster. We have this setup. I cook 90% of the time. My husband does 90% of the dishes. When we're done, he starts on the dishes and I start packing away leftovers and do a quick wipe down of the countertops. Whole thing takes 15 to 20 minutes for both of us and we go to bed with a clean kitchen every night. Totally worth it to me. It's a big win. You get to spend time together, you're literally supporting each other like spouses are supposed to, and the job gets done in less time so you both get to relax. Certainly people don't have to do it this way, but you can't argue that it's fundamentally unfair for spouses to literally support one another in their daily lives. I feel weird sitting on my butt while my boyfriend cleans up the kitchen, even though I have no problem with him sitting on his butt while I cook. We have a setup that doesn't really allow for two people washing dishes at the same time, but I try to work around him, put things in the dishwasher or wipe down soiled surfaces so it goes faster, especially if I did make a big mess while cooking and there's a lot to do to reset the kitchen. I hear ya. I blame society mostly. Women are conditioned to insist on helping and to do all the clearing and cleaning after a meal. That's why it feels off to you. I'm glad I'm not the only one who views it this way. Something about dividing things so formally in a relationship is so bizarre to me. With my last serious relationship, we would want to spend time together and just help each other out without measuring who is doing what or who did more. That way things finish faster and you have more downtime to both relax together, or even separately. Business partner relationships are so perplexing to me. To each their own, but I'm pretty strongly against that dynamic. Yep. I typically get started on dinner and do most of the work while he occupies the kids or works or whatever. But if isn't busy with something else, he comes and helps me cook. And after dinner, I go and help with homework or chase kids or whatever. And when I am done, I go and help in the kitchen. We are usually done before the kids go to bed and it's no big deal. It's easier to just work together instead of relying on a strict splitting of responsibilities. This is how my fiancé and I manage it as well. He does the literal cooking, i.e. standing at the stove stirring the pot. I do the prep cook work on the side and make sure stuff is ready to go, like spices out, veggies clean, when it's time for them to be added. Then in between that I put stuff he did use back in its place. After that we eat dinner and he helps cleaning by putting food away and getting dishes in the dishwasher and wiping counters while I physically wash dishes. Now both chores and much faster for both people and it's time spent together. Cleaning up together isn't required to not be a butthole. I do think it might be helpful in this situation, however. Cleaning up together is a symbolic act. Rather than leaving your spouse to tackle the job alone while you relax with a beer or play games, cleaning up together says we are facing life's challenges together. That's a good habit to cultivate and it will stand them in good stead when they have to face bigger challenges. Practically, cleaning up together ensures that whoever cooks has skin in the game. It provides an incentive for hubby to not leave the kitchen a complete disaster when he cooks. Hopefully the cleaning gets done in half the time and they can both have a beer. Rather than leaving your spouse to tackle the job alone while you relax with a beer or play games but the person who did not cook was relaxing with a beer or games while the other cooked. I'd agree if it's cooking together and cleaning together. Maybe or they were working or taking care of kids or something else. Or like me they enjoy cooking to an extent, but cooking isn't always hands-on the whole time. I'm drinking a glass of wine texting friends during some of it too. If you go down the path of everything has to be 50-50 all the time, it can lead to bullcrap resentment over stuff that doesn't matter. Better to just try to help each other where you can, in my opinion. Typical Redditor mentality TM is that everything has to be exactly equal in a relationship down to the last detail or else it's toxic or unfair, laughing my butt off. In real life, if people want to split things with their partner like they are business partners or roommates, it makes me wonder why they're even together. You should want to flex and go above and beyond for someone who you love without measuring the exact precision of equalness. You know, because chores aren't even that bad if get to spend time with your partner and get stuff done so you can both relax after. And if one person primarily does cooking, it doesn't mean the other person doesn't bring something else to the table in the relationship in other equitable ways. Sometimes I wonder if people on Reddit have ever even touched grass, let alone been in a real relationship before laughing my butt off. I do most of the cooking. And when I cook I either don't want to delegate tasks, or I don't really have any tasks to delegate to my partner. He offers help, so sometimes I have something he can chop or whatever, but most of the time it's easier if I just handle it myself. But with cleaning, both people know what needs to be done, they know what needs to be washed, what needs to be put away, what goes in the dishwasher, what surfaces are dirty and need to be wiped down, and they can both take initiative to do those things without anything being delegated. One cooks, the other cleans is a perfectly fine division of labor, if it works for you. It's not working for this couple, so it makes sense for them to try a different arrangement and see if it works better. When one person makes a huge mess while cooking and the other is quite tidy, it ends up being an unfair divide. Especially if he's just being lazy and staring at his phone rather than helping at all, and then getting pissy about being left the same mess he leaves his wife normally. You can't get mad if they apply the same rules you've made up for yourself, that's just hypocritical. Exactly, it's not a fair split if he gets a bit of cleaning up and she gets a super messy kitchen. My husband and I have an even harder split. I work, he takes care of the household including cooking and cleaning. I still start to clean after dinner. Even a simple run-through of clearing the table, putting the spices away, and scraping down the dishes, not washing, helps my partner not feel overwhelmed at a mess after he literally nourishes my body to keep me alive. Even if it's your job, a delicious meal is a gift and so easy to pay back with a little tidying up. Because what they are doing now isn't working for one of them, namely up. So maybe we both cook and we both clean every day will work better. I agree. Original post cooks alone 80% of the time, cleans while she cooks, then helps spouse clean up, and spouse cooks 20% of the time, does not clean while he cooks and then helps original post clean up his cooking mess. Isn't fair and might push the issue even worse to original post perspective. I like the splitting it idea. Me and my husband do both together. We make it a team go so that neither one of us is burdened with all of one job. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.